Now, as gunshots echo across the wind-swept, snow-covered reaches of the wild Northwest, Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice, the breakfast cereal shot from guns, present Sergeant Preston of the Yukon. It's Yukon King, swiftest and strongest lead dog of the Northwest, breaking the trail for Sergeant Preston of the Northwest Mounted Police in his relentless pursuit of lawbreakers.
On King! On your...
Gold discovered in the Yukon. A stampede to the Klondike in the wild race for riches. Back to the days of the gold rush. With Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice, bringing you the adventures of Sergeant Preston and his wonder dog, Yukon King, as they meet the challenge of the Yukon. When thieves robbed the Hudson's Bay Company warehouse in 40 Mile, suspicion fell on Kipworth Lewis, who, since being discharged by the company for dishonesty, had been involved in a number of shady transactions. But Kip Lewis had an alibi, and when no trace of the stolen furs was found, the case was suspended. Sergeant Preston, who had conducted part of the investigation, said,
Inspector, I am still convinced that Kip Lewis was involved in that fur robbery. Someday I hope to prove it.
A year later, Sergeant Preston was on duty at Northwest Mounted Police Headquarters in Dawson when Constable White of the 40 Mile Post brought surprising news.
Sergeant, just before I left 40 Mile, Kip Lewis paid the title transfer fee and bought the old Aurora mine.
What does he want with an abandoned property like the Aurora?
I don't know, but he must mean business. He had tools and mining equipment delivered to the mine.
I can't imagine that crook working a claim.
You still convinced he's a crook?
Yes. I'm sure he was involved in that Hudson robbery.
Sergeant Preston was right. Kip Lewis had robbed the warehouse with his pals Jeff Taylor and Luke Purdy. They had hidden the furs in a cave overlooking the river, a short distance from the Aurora mine. When Lewis took possession of the mine, the furs were still in the cave undisturbed. While Sergeant Preston was discussing Lewis, the latter, accompanied by Taylor and Purdy, walked through a long tunnel that led from the mine entrance at the base of a hill to a vast vault-like area which was studded with boulders and a few packing cases. After they had studied their surroundings, Kip Lewis held a paper close to a lantern and said,
Boys, this is a list of the men we'll rob. We'll end up with a fortune.
Kip, did you mean it when you said that after we steal their gold, we'll have to bring it here and bury it?
Yeah. The idea came to me after we hid those furs in the cave.
It's a good idea, Kip.
I think it is. You steal something, put it away until people forget it was stolen, then you cash in on it. Nobody pays attention.
Just like we did in the Hudson Fur Company job.
We didn't cash in on that one yet.
Luke, my friend Gus Ramsey, the fur trader, is going to be in 40 Mile about a month from now. We'll cash in then.
Yeah, we'll see. But what about this gold we steal? When you bury it, you might have to keep it in the ground for years.
If necessary, that's what we'll do. But we'll know it's here, Luke. And that's the same as having it in the bank.
Kip's right. We start to throw gold around after the robberies, the Mounties may become suspicious.
Yeah, and we can't risk that.
I'm in favor of Kip's plan. So we'll go along like we're near broke. Make people think we got nothing on our minds but finding a new vein in this shaft.
Months from now, long after we've robbed the men on the list, we'll begin to hint that we're nearing pay dirt.
Yeah. Then we'll dig up the gold we buried a little at a time and start to get rid of it.
What do you say, Luke? Let's go through with this thing the way I planned it.
All right. Let me see some money soon. Money that I can bury in my pocket instead of in the ground.
Sure, Luke. Boys, no claim on my list is more than 5 hours from this mine. And each claim is a rich one. operated by only one or two men. Now, this is the way we're going to do it.
During the next 2 weeks, Kip Lewis and his partners went through the motions of working the Aurora mine. Soon the word spread throughout the territory that the three men were serious in their efforts to unearth new gold from the abandoned mine. Then one evening, Kip Lewis said to Jeff Taylor and Luke Purdy,
"Boys, the time is ripe. The river's free of ice, everybody's digging again, and no one is paying attention to us. We start on our list tomorrow. And we'll end up with the richest take in the Yukon."
The following evening, Kip Lewis and his cohort started their campaign of robbery and violence.
Who are you? Don't move or I'll shoot.
Night after night, the crooks invaded rich claims mined by only one or two men. Some men were overcome while they slept. Others, awakened by the marauders, attempted to put up a fight, but the thieves used clubs to knock them unconscious. Robbery followed. Kip Lewis and his partners never varied the pattern of their attacks. Moving quickly, they made off with large collections of gold dust and nuggets, leaving their victims bound and gagged. The robberies attracted widespread attention, and finally, in Dawson, Sergeant Preston was summoned to the inspector's office.
Sergeant, there have been 2 more robberies near 40 Mile River. The 8th in less than 2 weeks.
Were they committed by the same gang, sir?
Undoubtedly. And once more, they made a clean getaway.
I wrote to Constable White last week and suggested that he question Kip Lewis and his 2 partners.
Constable White reports that he did question Lewis and his pals. Found that nothing that implicated them.
Lewis always seems to avoid implications, sir.
Proving that he's either innocent or smarter than we are. Well, maybe you'll get the answer this time, Sergeant. Because I want you to leave at once for 40 Mile and help Constable White find those crooks.
Yes, sir. Steady, Rex. Easy, boy.
On right.
While Sergeant Preston, riding his horse Rex and accompanied by his great dog Yukon King, was on his way to 40 Mile, Kip Lewis received a letter at the Aurora mine. He went at once to Taylor and Purdy.
"Boys, I just received a letter from Gus Ramsey."
The fellow who's going to buy the furs from us?
Yeah, he'll buy them once he sees them. But Gus is cautious.
Oh, he has to be, Kip. He wants to keep his name as an honest dealer. What's he say in the letter?
He wants me to come to town when he arrives and describe the skins. If he's interested, he'll look them over.
Luke, you'll be getting some cash money then.
I'll specify paper money, too. And not gold.
Yeah. We don't want to have even a speck of gold dust on us these days. Hey, Kip, you still planning to rob that sourdough who lives upriver?
Jock McLean? Sure. We'll take him tonight as we planned.
Are we going by boat?
Yeah. Be sure the rowboat's ready.
Right.
That night, 1 hour after midnight, the sourdough, Jock McLean, was awakened from sleep by the opening of his cabin door.
Get him, he's going for his gun.
Before he could reach for the gun beneath his cot, 3 masked men leaped across the room. As 2 of them pinioned him, the third cook used a blackjack. More than an hour passed before the thieves located McLean's gold hoard beneath the floor of the cabin. As they prepared to leave, Kip said,
"Boys, we better hurry to the boat if we want to get back to the mine before dawn. Come on.
Yeah, let's go.
The following evening, Kip Lewis went to 40 Mile to meet Gus Ramsey. And on the same evening, Sergeant Preston arrived in 40 Mile. Leaving King and Rex outside the police post, he went inside and met Constable White. After an exchange of greetings, White said,
Sergeant, there's been another robbery. Jock McLean was found in his cabin today, bound and gagged.
Was he injured?
Not seriously. But here's what you want to hear. Jock came up with some facts about the crooks.
What facts?
The men were masked, and there were 3 of them.
3, eh? What else?
McLean was knocked out, but he regained consciousness before the crooks left. He heard one of them speak.
What'd he say?
Something about hurrying to the boat if they wanted to reach the mine before dawn.
Oh?
Thought at once of your letter. 3 men in a mine. Interesting, isn't it?
Very. I'd like to talk to McLean and later to Kip Lewis.
We'll go to Dr. Castle's office right away.
Let's go. Stay here, King. Keep an eye on Rex.
Sergeant, the story of McLean's could be a break for us.
Yes, it's possible, of course, that he was...
What's wrong? Why are you stopping?
Quick, back into this alley before they see us.
Who'd you see?
Kip Lewis and Gus Ramsey coming out of the Klondike Cafe.
Ramsey, the fur trader?
Yes,
I thought you wanted to question Lewis.
I do, but not here and now.
Quiet.
Gus, I've kept the furs for you. They're soft and rich, every one of them. When you see them tonight, you'll have to admit they're...
Well, what did you make out of that conversation?
We were talking about furs.
Yes, Ramsey's a fur trader.
Will you go alone to talk to McLean?
Certainly. Are you going to follow Lewis and Ramsey?
Yes, I'll try to find where they're hiding the furs. As soon as I do, I'll let you know.
Sergeant Preston, moving in the shadows close to the buildings, followed Lewis and Ramsey at a discreet distance. The pair walked to the end of the street, entered a livery stable. Sergeant Preston increased his pace, hurried through an alley, and approached the stable from the rear. He pressed close to the wall of the ramshackle structure and listened. He heard only a few words from inside, but they were enough. He hurried back to the police post,
Easy, Rex.
mounted his horse, and spoke to King.
Come along, King. Got it, Rex. All right, go now.
At Dr. Castle's office, Sergeant Preston spoke to Constable White.
Did you see McLean yet?
No, he's in the other room. Doctor's bandaging him. I'll talk to him in a few minutes.
Well, I can't wait. Lewis and Ramsey are going out to the Aurora mine. I'm going after them.
Kip Lewis and Gus Ramsey arrived at the Aurora mine less than 2 hours after they left 40 Mile. They hurried through the tunnel to the large room where Luke and Jeff waited.
Boys, this is Gus Ramsey. Gus, this is Jeff Taylor. This is Luke Purdy.
Hello.
Well, Kip, if the furs are as fine as you say, you'll have a sale. May I see them?
Well, they're not here, Gus.
Not here. But, Kip, you told me...
I told you I'd show them to you here, Gus. I didn't want to have them on hand unless I was sure you'd come here. I'll get them now.
Kip, you should have told me this. I don't like deals of this kind.
Draw up a crate and sit down. Luke has playing cards. He'll help you pass the time. We'll be gone only about half an hour or so. Come on, Jeff.
Right.
Kip and Jeff hurried through the tunnel, which became progressively darker as they walked away from the lighted area. Outside the entrance, they stopped. Kip said,
Jeff, we'd better use the boat. It'll be easier than carrying the furs from the cave.
Yeah. Hey, Gus is nervous. Think he'll walk out on us?
No, he'll wait. We'll only be gone about half an hour. Let's get going.
The two men hurried about 50 yards downhill to the riverbank, where they kept their boat concealed in underbrush. From there, it was only a 10-minute paddle to the cave at the water's edge, about half a mile downstream. Meanwhile, a figure moved cautiously through the scrub trees at the side of the mine entrance. Sergeant Preston, who had arrived minutes earlier, had overheard the brief conversation. Now he returned to the spot where he left his horse and cane. He spoke low to the dog.
King, you're coming with me, boy. I'm going into the mine. I want you to stay outside. There's a lookout for me. I almost believe you know what I say. Now let's get home, fella. You stay here, King. Be quiet. I'll go inside now. I think I'm near the end of the trail.
Inside the mine, Gus Ramsey and Luke Purdy played cards for about 10 minutes. They sat in the far corner of the room-like area, away from the tunnel opening. They used wooden crates as seats, and used the top of a waist-high tool chest as a table. Suddenly, Ramsey looked up, an anxious look on his face.
Hey, Luke. Did you hear noise up front?
Huh? No, I don't hear anything.
It must be nerves. I don't like this place.
That's funny. Lately, I spend so much time in here, this is getting like home. We're always here, day and night.
Why? Kip told me before that you don't work here.
Yeah, that's right, we don't. Except maybe when we know somebody's snooping around these parts, like a Mountie. Then we make a lot of noise with axes and shovels. Of course, we have to do some serious digging after a job.
Job? What kind of a job?
You know, when we come back here after one of our gold... Hey, look, Kip told you what we're up to here, didn't he?
Well, not everything. All I know is that you've been using this mine as a hiding place for the furs.
We don't keep furs here. We use this... You mean Kip didn't tell you about the other?
No. What's the other?
Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Why should... Say, I just thought of something. All I've heard lately is about the gold robberies in this area. Is that what you meant when you mentioned jobs?
See here, you. I said forget I said anything. I meant it. Hey, why are you getting up?
I shouldn't have come here in the first place. I'm leaving.
Oh, wait a minute. You can't go now. They're coming back here with the furs.
Tell Kip I don't like this kind of a deal. And I certainly don't get myself mixed up with gold thieves. Thanks for the warning.
Hey, come back here. You can't walk out like that. Now, wait a minute. Look, Gus.
Get your hands off me.
Why, you no good.
Don't you... Put that gun away.
Shut up. I don't want to do this, Gus, but I have to. Now, just back over to where we were.
We'll continue our adventure in just a moment. Now to continue. Luke Purdy, his gun leveled and his eyes on Ramsey, made the furman back slowly toward the lighted end of the cave. As they passed one of the projecting columns at the side of the cave, a figure emerged behind Purdy. Sergeant Preston grasped the crook's arms in a grip of steel.
Drop that gun, Purdy.
Hey, Owen!
Sergeant Preston.
Hey, the Mountie! Where'd you come from? Oh, my arm! You're breaking it!
I said drop that gun now.
Oh!
Purdy, with a cry of rage and pain, dropped his pistol as Preston's grip tightened. At the same moment, Gus Ramsey made a desperate plunge for the weapon.
I'll take that. All right, Preston, you covered it.
Ramsey, you're crazy.
Yes, crazy if I don't shoot you. You were listening.
Yes, and I know a lot more. Put away that gun, Ramsey.
Preston, let me go!
Yes, Preston, release him. Step out so I can shoot you.
Is that all you want? Here!
Preston, with all his strength, pushed Luke Purdy away from him and sent the crook crashing against the startled Ramsey. As the two men tangled, Preston lunged forward. His first punch caught Ramsey flush on the chin. Ramsey fell like a rock. Preston's second blow spun Purdy around. And a final uppercut sent him crashing backward against the crates. Purdy collapsed unconscious. Sergeant Preston hurried to the card-covered tool chest and picked up one of the ropes that lay on the ground beside it. He returned to where Luke Purdy sprawled and rapidly bound the crook's arms and ankles. He finished the moment Gus Ramsey was regaining consciousness.
All right, Ramsey.
Sergeant, don't kill me.
I don't intend to. Get to your feet. Stand up.
Oh, my chin. Sergeant, I didn't mean it when I said I'd shoot you.
No, of course not.
I must have been crazy, Sergeant. I'm not a thief or a criminal like these men. I have a good reputation. I'm not really mixed up.
I'll give you a chance to prove that, Ramsey. As long as you haven't actually bought the stolen goods, I'll overlook your threats against me, if I'm convinced you didn't mean them.
Oh, I didn't mean to threaten you, Sergeant. I'll do anything you say to prove I'm a law-abiding man. I'm on your side, Sergeant.
Then help me carry Purdy out into the tunnel.
Yes, of course.
Sergeant Preston and Gus Ramsey carried the still unconscious Luke Purdy a short distance into the darkened tunnel. They placed him on the ground behind the rock column where Preston had hidden earlier. Then the Mountie tied a gag in place.
This gag will keep him quiet when he regains consciousness. I don't want him to interfere when we take Kip Lewis and Jeff Taylor.
Lewis got me into this, man.
I'll get you out of it. Just stay on the side of the lawn.
Oh, yes, Sergeant. I'm with you all the way.
Now we'll go back where we came from.
During the short walk, Preston gave instructions, which Ramsey promised faithfully to follow. As Preston finished talking, King ran to his master. The great and intelligent dog hadn't uttered a sound, but when he reached Preston, his low growl conveyed a message.
Someone coming, King? Oh, boy, I knew you'd warn me. Heel, King. King, get behind that tool chest and stay.
What a remarkable dog.
Josh! Look!
Here they come.
Get out where they can see you. I'll stay back here with King and listen while you ask the questions I told you to ask. Go on, call back to him.
Yes. Hello, Kip.
Bring up the game. We're here.
Seconds later, Kip Lewis and Jeff Taylor, their arms loaded with furs, came from the tunnel and tossed the skins to the ground.
There they are, Gus. These are the samples. Look them over.
Yes, Kip. Let me see one here. Yes. These are beauties. This one...
Hey, what's he doing examining a skin like that?
Looking for the owner's mark, huh, Gus?
Say, Kip, this is Hudson Fur Company stock. So you're the one who robbed the warehouse last year, huh?
Oh, look here, Gus.
Jeff, don't get excited. Gus is only doing what I'd expect. He can substitute his own markings for those of the Hudson Company. Can't you, Gus?
Yes.
Hey, where's Luke?
Yeah, where is he?
But he's not here, Kip.
I can see that, but where did he go?
He didn't tell me, but he said something to me about why you had bought the mine, about digging after the gold jobs.
That blabbing fool. He told you it's us who've been doing those jobs?
Well, in as many words, yes. It was after
Now,
that...
wait a minute. Did he take any gold from here? No,
Jeff, put that shovel down. Don't start digging. You can see the ground hasn't been touched.
Then maybe we'll start
Hey, kid, look!
Sergeant Preston!
Kip Lewis, with a surprised grunt, fumbled in his coat pocket, reaching for his gun. King, sensing the peril to his master, charged Kip and knocked him to the ground.
I'll kill him!
Jeff Taylor raised the shovel in his hands, about to bring it down on King. Sergeant Preston grabbed the upraised shovel with his right hand and hooked his left fist into Taylor's unprotected stomach.
That'll hold you. All right, King, get off him, boy. I'll take that gun, Lewis.
All right, you have it.
Now get to your feet.
Hello in there! Sergeant Preston!
somebody's coming.
I'm back here. That you, White?
Yes. I have Jock McLean with me.
Gus, you helped Preston trip me. I'll tear you to pieces, you know.
Stay right there, Lewis.
That voice I just heard. That's the voice I heard the other night.
Hello, Jock. You heard Kip Lewis. He's already implicated himself. Hello, White. I'm glad you decided to come out here.
What's been going on?
We have the solution to the Hudson Fur robbery and the recent gold robberies around 40 miles.
So Kip Lewis was the man, huh? You guessed right.
If that snake Gus Ramsey hadn't crossed me...
Lewis, all the evidence, including Jock McLean's identification, will send you away for years.
Hey, look at Jeff Taylor on the ground. He's out cold.
And Purdy's tied up out in the tunnel.
I'll show you where he is, Constable.
Do that, Ramsey, and consider yourself lucky that you're not under arrest.
Ramsey under arrest?
You nearly made the mistake of buying stolen furs.
Oh, but I didn't buy them, Sergeant.
No, just in time you realized the side of the law was the safe side. White, those furs on the floor are from the Hudson warehouse.
Good.
What about the gold these fellas stole from me?
It's here in the ground, Jock. Before we leave, we'll dig it up.
Sergeant, you were right all along when you thought Kip Lewis stole the furs. When you return to headquarters, you'll be able to close the file on the robberies and also the old Hudson's Bay Company fur robbery.
Yes, White. At last, that case is closed.
We'll return in just a moment with a word about our next exciting adventure. Say, mothers, the family doesn't need a second invitation to breakfast when there's delicious Quaker puffed wheat or Quaker puffed rice on the menu.
Top a bowl full with milk and sliced bananas or other fruit, and you give your family the best tasting treat they ever did eat.
There's nothing like the sunny, natural flavor of those good, wholesome grains of wheat and rice.
It's the sunny, natural flavor that old Mother Nature herself puts into them.
You know, they are never coated with factory sweetening. Absolutely no sugar is added.
And that's the beauty of Quaker puffed rice and Quaker puffed wheat.
The whole family can sweeten them with sugar just exactly the way they like.
Remember, the ones shot from guns come only in the red and blue packages with a picture of the big gun on the front.
So every morning, Mom, make that first call to breakfast, bring the family on the double quick. All you have to do is this. Sing out that big bowlfuls of delicious, taste-tempting Quaker puffed wheat and Quaker puffed rice are on the breakfast table.